Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, April 9th, 2019. I can't believe it. I am here with my friend Bryan Whitehurst. We're going to talk about Mindset is Everything, and that is a great title because I'm excited to hear what he has to say. Let us know you can hear us and see us. We went live right at 1 o'clock. So Ben Gilbert's on. Give me a heart or a thumbs up, Ben. Let me know you can hear us and see us because, of course, Francis Garcia, what's up? So give me a heart, give me a thumbs up because we want to, there goes Ben. What's up, Melissa? What's happening? All right, so welcome to the show, my friend. I'm very happy to have you back. You're actually an alumnus, if that is such a word. So you've been on the show before, but I love your topic, and we've been trying to get together and talk about the new things that you have going on. And, of course, what's up, Rebecca Soto? How's Washington, D.C.? I miss you guys. For NAREP, they're up there, and I missed out on that conference this year. So welcome.
Thanks.
I'm happy to have you here.
Thanks for having me back.
I'm very happy to have you back.
I always have fun meeting with you.
I always have fun meeting with you. I mean, I can have fun in a paper bag, but you definitely make it so much easier when we have a really good conversation. So talk about, they always like to hear, people don't remember anything, I don't either. So give them a little background on you before we dive into the topic.
Okay. Well, I'm originally from California. I grew up here in Orlando, Florida. I've been here for about 30 years. So I've watched Orlando grow from this tiny little town to this big city feel. So there's a lot of great things in Orlando. I enjoy being here. I went to school here, went to college here, UCF alumni.
Oh, nice!
And a Full Sail alumni.
Nice.
So I started my career actually in business. Or not business, I'm sorry, medicine. I was a physical therapist for about 15 years.
Is that what you did?
Yes.
I think I said that exact same statement the last time you told me.
I think you did. So, but
it's always a surprise for me.
I know, it's a surprise to a lot of people because being confined in clinics and stuff like that is a lot different than what I do now.
What was your motivation to become a physical therapist?
I had a wife and kids. And the wife told me that I had to have a real career.
That's a real career.
Yes, it is a real career.
The money's good, right? I mean,
yes.
So what made you decide, all right, this is not for me? What made you to decide to make a move?
Just 15 years dealing with medicine and patients and death. And when you see death for that much, because I also worked in the hospital, so it wears on you emotionally. Its toll,
right?
Yeah, and I absolutely empathize and respect all of my friends that work in medicine that spend their whole career. I have friends that have been nurses for 25, 30 years, and kudos to them to be able to still stay in that field.
It's a lot because people don't realize that you really do take it home. I mean, there's nothing you can do. My daughter's an oncology nurse, so you compartmentalize as much as you can, but at some point you have your breaking moments.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
So at what point did you say, all right, I'm done, I've had enough, and then what did you do? Or did you know what your plan was?
I knew what my plan was. So I started out in sales early on in age. When I was 20, 21, worked in retail. I knew I liked sales. I was good at it, always won awards, always was a top salesperson. And then I started developing some marketing skills just from working with people and former managers and everything else. And actually towards the end of my career in physical therapy, I started marketing outpatient clinics. So they started having me be the face of, the company and getting out there and
so you could
meeting
speak
with
all
languages.
You could speak the medical language,
yes.
And then you could also sell. You could also
yes.
talk about the business advantages. And
exactly.
That's really awesome. That's a great combination.
Yeah. So I ended my career back in 2013, around there. And then started a boutique agency. I actually started out as promoting for bars and restaurants and throwing parties.
What's a boutique agency? Like a PR agency?
Like a PR marketing agency. I actually taught myself. I'm self-taught in marketing. So I taught myself everything. I taught myself SEO. I taught myself social media marketing before social media marketing was even a thing. And just over the years, I read a lot. I educated myself a lot. I learned a lot when I went to Full Sail for my master's degree back in 2014.
What's your master's degree in?
In public relations, actually.
At Full Sail?
Yes.
Okay, that gives you a great background.
I'm very diverse. My undergrad's in medicine. And my
diverse
master's
is a
in
good
PR.
word. Look it up. You're fine.
So yeah, I have a very diverse background. I've really, in the past few years, really fine-tuned myself in my company. I started out as Edgy Concepts. I don't know. I know you've seen it. I just recently rebranded myself last year as Big Bite Media. Kind of went in a different direction. Watched the trends and the industry of marketing and digital marketing and how it's changed so much. And I really am very happy and comfortable with the direction of where we're going now.
So talk about that. So you go from working for the man, working in a completely different industry, and you kind of transitioned out. What was it like, or how did you undertake being an owner of a business, an entrepreneur? Because you're used to the regular paycheck, you're used to the benefits, you get all of that from people, and then I think a lot of times people think, I want to make the leap, and then they don't know what they're getting into. So what was that transition like for you?
That's one of the hardest decisions and the biggest decisions I've ever made in my life, other than getting married and having kids. Yes, it's a tough decision, and any of you out there that are working in the corporate world and considering starting your own business, becoming an entrepreneur, you got to do your research. And honestly, I would probably, if you don't have the motivation, you don't have the discipline, I would tell you not to do it. Really, honestly, and brutally honest, it's not for everybody. But
I think people think it is, right? So
yes, they do.
It sounds really cool. I'm going to be my own boss. I can take my vacations. What I tell people is, where are you going to make the money to take the vacations?
Exactly.
Where are you going to get the money to pay the bills? So I want people to take a leap and do their dream, whatever they want. But I'm a big believer in planning for that as much as you can. Making sure you have the money in the bank, the resources. You can make your mortgage payment, your rent payment, your car payment. And I think a lot of people, they get so tired of working. It's not easy working for someone else.
No, it's not. That was one of my biggest motivators in becoming a full-time entrepreneur, is I don't do well with people telling me the direction I need to go.
I'm kind of shocked.
Sorry. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate that.
Sorry.
But no, I really am. I'm not. I mean, you can ask my mother. She'll tell you that I never listened to her. Now I wish I did listen to her. But I just don't take direction well. I give direction, and I love teaching others. And I've ran teams of salespeople of 200 plus and been very successful at it. I consider myself a good leader. I consider myself a good example of what not to do, because I've experienced a lot.
Sure.
I've been through a lot in my life. I grew up with nothing, to get a little personal. I came from nothing. I came from having, one outfit to wear to school. And my mom washed it all the time. So I watched, and my biggest motivation of doing this is to teach others how to do it, to teach others how to develop a good mindset, which leads us to this topic today. And I really did a lot of studies that looked at the science behind how your brain works and how a lot of people just don't use it the right way. The brain is it's very fragile, especially in children. And if you look back, I think many of us look back as an adult of a lot of the negativity that we experienced as a child. Your parents all, growing up tell you it's all negative. Don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Or you get in trouble for this, you get in trouble for that,
right.
Or you might say the wrong thing. But I don't look at it as a bad negative. I look at it as a learning negative. It's a growth mindset. And there's two types of mindsets. It's a growth mindset, and there's the kind of a static mindset.
What's mindset? So define for them, because I think people hear that buzzword a lot. So what's a mindset? I kind of tried to paraphrase, I threw attitude in there when I was describing it, but mindset's so much more. So in your mind, what's the definition of what your mindset is?
Mindset, to me, is really an umbrella of everything that we do in life. Our behavior, our attitude, who we surround ourselves with, what we fill our brain with. A lot of people pollute their minds every day. whether it's directly or indirectly. They listen to negative stuff, or they watch violence on TV, or they have the most negative friends that you could possibly think of that are so pessimistic and so just negative about life. And we all have that one friend that you talk about positive things, you're excited about something, they're like, that never worked.
Oh, or Debbie Downer.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and it's just, those are the people that, and I educate, especially on my podcast, I educate people and tell them, sometimes you have to make the hardest decision is to get rid of the people that you most care about.
It's so hard. We talk about that on the show a lot. Mindset encompasses your perspective that comes from what you are exposed to.
Yes.
I think it's so important to really evaluate that. So when you're talking about it, obviously you lived through it. So what did you have to do to adjust your mindset so that you're able to come here and talk about mindset is everything?
Really surround myself with positivity. Everything that I listen to, everything that I do, the people that I surround myself now. I had to clean house a few years ago and get rid of a lot of people that I really didn't want to.
Listen to him, because that is that to me, that's the hardest part of making the transition and the cleaning house. That could be your closest friend for 30 years. It could be your brother. It could be your sister. You have to do that for your own self-preservation and for you to do the things that you want to do.
Exactly. I mean, there's family members that I barely talk to anymore because all they talk about is negative stuff
So much
or
negativity.
their life. And you try to, I always try to help people. And that's one of the biggest things that I've changed in my life is being more kind to people, having more empathy for people. Because I have to remember, and sometimes we get ahead of ourselves in life because we have some success or a little success, we forget where we came from. And you can never forget where your grassroots, you can never forget where you came from. Just because, let's say you make $1 million, doesn't mean you go out and, flaunt it or have this luxurious lifestyle. You got to take care of the people that supported you getting to that point, because nobody does this on their own. You don't do it on your own, Ted. I know you haven't. You have a family. You have a wife.
I do not do it.
I don't do this on my own. There's a lot of people that are very dear to me that have always been there for me through my ups and downs.
Right.
And those are the people that I will always take care of once I get to a point where I can.
So people ask me about the decluttering, the getting rid of that. So if there's somebody that's close to you, like I've experienced too, we've talked about it on the show, but I'd love your perspective. If there's somebody that's close to you, you've always been around, and you have to make that cut, how do you do it? And do they still stay a part of your life, or do they just stay on the periphery because you don't want that negativity in your head all the time?
Well, I tell them, look, there's two things. There's two directions we can go with our relationship. One, you can support me, be as positive as you can when you're around me, and hopefully I can help you change little things in your life to be more positive. Or two, you can continue on the behavior that you're going on, and we're going to separate ways. With all due respect, we're going to part ways. I'll say hi to you if I see you. If you call me, I'll answer your call and talk as long as you're not negative. But don't get mad at me if I hang up on you because you start talking and complaining about stuff.
Well, I think it's so important. What I think Brian's saying, which is what I went through, is that you have to make the separation. It's got to be a nice, clean one, in my opinion. It's got to be really clean, and you have to set boundaries. And you, for your own sanity and for your own mindset and what you're trying to accomplish, you have to set those boundaries. And then if they cross them, you have to know what the consequences are for that, and you have to let them know what the consequences are.
Absolutely. And there comes a point in time, Ted, really, and you have to do a mind cleansing. Just like we cleanse our bodies with what we drink. And
I have no idea what you're talking about, Brian.
Exactly. But no, I mean, you do. You have to do a mind cleansing. You really do. You have to get rid of the crap and the filth that gets put into your head, and then you have to fill it with good stuff. That's reading books and watching videos and just watching positive things and being around positive people. The biggest thing is, and we've all heard this saying, is you are who you hang out with. And it's so much the truth that I've lived it. And, a few years ago, I had a really bad circle of friends that kind of dragged me down with them, and it caused a lot of issues in my life. It caused tension between me and my family. It caused tension between me and the people that really cared about me.
Right.
And it's just a horrible feeling. But I'll tell you, the best feeling in the world is when you do a mind dumping, and that's a horrible phrase to use, but
I like it though.
but when you do a mind dump and you start to put little things positive in your head every single day, that includes the first thing you wake up in the morning. Because if you wake up in the morning and you put one positive thing in your head, the direction of your day is going to be positive.
It's so, Elena, you're right. It is. Elena Cruz said it's hard to do that. She's a couple of feeds up. It is hard to do that. But here's the thing: just because it's hard doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. I tell people all the time, look, I know it's not easy to maybe disconnect from somebody, but what are you going to do? How are you going to progress and move through and do what you're supposed to do and have the right mindset all the time when you have this negativity in your head all the time? Remember, you already are dealing with your own demons, the stuff that you're dealing with internally, the voices inside your head that want to bring you down. I mean, believe me, I get it. But if you've got somebody externally that's in your mind, you got to get them out of the picture.
Completely.
So what did that do when you made the change? So you decided to do your mind dump. You decided to make a change and get rid of, or at least put them out on the periphery of the people who were the negative. What happened immediately, and how was that transition?
The transition was hard. It was hard. And going back to Elena, it is hard. I'm going to tell you, it's probably one of the hardest things you're ever going to do when you do a mind dump and you're trying to get rid of the negativity. But you have to do it one step at a time. It's a baby step. Look, life is a marathon. It's not a sprint. We're not going to be successful in a year, maybe 2 years. It might take us 10 years to get to where we want to get to, but it is a marathon. You have to live in the moment. You can't worry about what happened yesterday, and you can't worry about what happens 30 minutes from now, because we have no control over either. All you have is control in this one moment, and you have control of your own life. So don't worry about what other people are doing. One of my favorite phrases, Gary Vaynerchuk says, life is much better when you have zero expectations. That's one of the things that's probably one of his top quotes that has the most impact in how I think.
Sure.
When you stop expecting great things from people, or you do things out of kindness and not expect anything back, you're going to notice a huge change in your attitude. And you're going to notice a huge change in the decrease in your anxiety, the decrease in your stress.
I agree.
And the decrease in your negativity. Because, hey, you know what, Ted? I'm going to give you $100 because you asked me for $100, but, it's good. I want to help you. I would never expect it back.
There's no expectation.
Yeah, there's no expectation.
I think people get confused on the expectation part. So we've talked about this on the show before. If you go into it and you're doing something for someone with an expectation, that is different than you expecting to be treated with respect in your circle. So be really careful about how you use expectation, people. What Brian's saying is 100% true. If you're doing things because you need an outcome or you're expecting something back, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. I don't even care how minuscule it is. You're doing it for the wrong reasons. If you're planting that seed, trust me, you're going to get paid back a millionfold. But you still should have boundaries and expectations of how people treat you. You just can't tie them to an action or a gift, in your opinion, of what you've done for them.
No, that's very true. Don't expect the best from people. I don't expect anything from people, but when people are people. Human behavior is very fascinating. How people act and their attitudes and how they react to a lot of things in life. And it is fascinating. It's fascinating. It really is. To study, and it's fascinating to watch. And being in the people business that you and I have been in for 20 plus years, we've seen it all, and how people are.
Every bit of it. And yet, I'm still surprised on a daily basis.
I know, right?
Every day I'm like, did that just happen, or did you just say that? I'm amazed at how some people are. I'm also amazed at how some people get caught, which is why I love this topic, mindset is everything. They get caught in their own mindset, like it's this trap, it's this cage that they put themselves in, and they're blaming everybody else, and yet they've got the key the whole time. They know how to get out of it, and yet they don't They want to blame everyone else, and they don't make the move.
And you know what, Ted? Nobody cares, really. And it's not,
I love that.
It's not that we don't care about the person. We
it.
don't care about the excuses, because
Correct.
we've all been through it. We've all had our rough times. We've all been through it. I mean, I tell my friends and I tell people this all the time. There's nothing you can tell me that I've probably not been through in my life.
Amen.
And I didn't make excuses. I fought through it, and here I am today, with a great group of friends, talking on your show. I love, talking to you because you're such a positive person, and I'm so glad Tracy introduced us.
I am too.
And it's a great feeling to be in a circle of people, even if it's a small circle, 5-6 people. If you get a group of 5 to 6 people that are all positive and it's high energy and you're having fun, it's the best feeling in the world.
I agree.
But Elena, take it one step at a time, one day at a time. Live in your moment and replace one thing every day, one negative thing with one positive thing every single day.
I love that advice.
Because if you do, I guarantee you in 30 days, look me up, send me a message in 30 days. If you do that and you listen to me, I guarantee you your attitude and your positivity in your life is going to be 180 degrees different.
I agree. I love you too, Melissa. All right, so let's talk about your project, like your business a little bit, because mindset's everything, and then people go, oh, that's really sweet, but how does he really implement that in his life? What does he do in his business? But you have some amazing business stuff going on,
I do.
And I want people to see that there is really an outcome, a consequence, an after effect, an impact of you doing the things that Bryan's talking about.
So the reasoning behind my rebrand to Big Bite Media is I noticed that digital marketing agencies are becoming like 7-Elevens and Wawas. They're all over the place.
Everybody's a social media guru.
Exactly. And I run into it every day with new clients. This person did wrong, or this person did wrong, or this company took my money, or whatever. Yada. I hear it. And this is where the mindset is everything comes in. And this is how I teach potential clients. I'm like, look, you can sit there and dwell on everything negative that people did to you, but I'm coming to you with a positive attitude. I'm coming to you to tell you exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a guarantee.
Right.
I'm not a digital marketing agency. I'm a branding agency. I do digital marketing. We can do that for you. But I'm going to show you a result. I'm going to produce a result in 30 days. I'm going to put you in a binding contract. I'm going to show you what I can do in 30 days. I'm not going to gouge you in price. And in 30 days, we'll reevaluate everything, and you'll be able to tell me, hey, you know what? I saw more progress in 30 days than I saw in 6 months with this other company. So let's do something bigger.
So I think people misunderstand the difference between a branding agency and a social media agency.
Yes.
What you said is so powerful, I think. He's branding. So I think we're all, when you're in the social media age, everything's branding, in my opinion. What he does as part of that branding is help you with your social media to engage more. That's only one perspective, one little part of it.
Yes. So one of the biggest branding things that I do is content. You'll hear me talk a lot about this on my social media as well, is content is everything. Without good content, without quality custom content that's relevant, and the biggest thing that I can teach you when it comes to branding and content is putting a message into your content. You have to know what your customers want. You have to know what your audience wants. You have to know how to sell to your audience, and then create that message in your content to speak to your audience, whether it's through images, whether it's through video, whether it's through whatever you're using. But your content has to speak a message. You can't continue to throw stock images and all this other stuff on your social media and expect people to engage with it.
Crazy.
If there's no message, then why do I need to like it, or why do I need to comment on it?
Right.
So whether if you're selling, a coffee or a glass of wine or a service, it has to speak a message. All of my content that I put out and my team puts out, it speaks some type of message to a customer to get them to engage, to want to know more about your company or your product or your service. And that's how it has to be, because there's almost 8 billion people on this earth now. I think the recent statistics is there's 6.5 billion people on social media out of the 8 billion people. So you have people, whether you own a business or you work for a company, you have endless opportunity. I would love to be my kid's age right now. I literally would love to
Right.
be my kid's age right now and to have the opportunity that they have in this digital revolution that we live in. You can monetize anything. You can monetize
That's such a great point.
a pencil. You know what I saw, Ted? I saw on Instagram a while ago, and I bring it up all the time. Somebody developed a I Love Hedgehogs brand.
I think I've seen this
You probably
before.
have.
Yeah, I think
they
I have.
literally 25,000 followers on Instagram, and their engagement rate is probably about 20%. I'm like, there's that many people that love hedgehogs. I mean, they're cute animals, but
Right.
but all he sells is T-shirts and stuffed animals and stuff like that. So you can literally monetize anything and make
So
money.
talk a little bit about just a little bit of like the nitty gritty. How does somebody, let's say that you have an idea like I Love Hedgehogs, and then you have 25,000 followers. I think what 99% of the people who are watching this show would not understand is how you can actually monetize that. Why are followers and why is having that social influence important, and how does it convert to money? You can give me the 101 version if you want. So.
Okay.
You don't have to
To
share
put
all
it-
your secrets.
To put it into perspective, I mean, influencer marketing is huge. It's one of the big. That's why these people are making a career out of
Look at the kid
branding.
who opens games. I
Yes.
mean, the YouTube kid, right? That's the one I always
Yes.
go, millions of dollars to do what he does.
And it's an influence, because if people see how much you love something and you're talking about it every single day and you're giving tips out for free and you're maybe doing a giveaway of a game because you work with this company that just gives you free stuff to use, that's really how you develop into this influence marketing. It's not necessarily means you have 1 million followers. You can have 5,000 followers, but it's the engagement rate that you have.
The engagement rate
The
is
amount
so
of people.
important.
Yes, because
What is engagement rate? Tell them what that is.
Engagement rate is the amount of people that not like your stuff, comment and DM you. That's engagement. That's considered engagement.
Because
It's
people
engaging
take
a
likes
conversation.
as the sole idea of
No, it's
engagement,
not.
and it's not.
No.
And I always tell people, so you could see somebody who's got I don't know how many followers, and talk about followers in a second.
Yeah.
So your number of followers, people will judge it because that's what we know. That's all we hear about. I've got 1 million followers because I'm a Kardashian, or 8 million followers, and so that makes sense to them. But if they've got 1,000, 2,000, you can still be impactful with that.
You
can't
can.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. I mean, companies will look at that. If you have, let's say, 5,000 followers, and you're getting, let's say 400 or 500, comments and likes and engagements, and people are talking about you and asking you questions, companies look at that.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, they probably have, they'll figure it out on average. You have a 40% engagement. I'd rather give you a bunch of free stuff to talk about to your followers, because I know 40% of your 6,000 followers are see my product.
Correct.
Versus somebody else over here that has 25,000 followers, but they're only getting like 400 and 500 people
Right.
commenting on their stuff. So 400 to 500 people commenting out of 25,000 is nothing compared to 500-600 out of 5,000.
And Instagram is different, and I won't spend a ton of time on this, but your social media is different. Each platform has a different methodology, how you post. You want somebody who's a branding expert to help you maneuver through that, because it's not the same. What you post on Facebook should not look the same as Instagram, should not really look the same as Twitter. There's LinkedIn is a completely different animal. There are many platforms, but you have to be able to cater it to that particular platform.
Yes, you do. And one thing that I teach my clients is I teach them what would they do, like this just happened I think a month ago. What would they do if social media shut down? Remember, about a month ago, Facebook, Instagram shut down for a whole day.
I couldn't do live
24
shows.
hours, 24 hours.
Almost fell out of my chair. I thought it
People
was
were
me.
freaking out. Imagine all the Instagram models that couldn't post.
Oh my God! The people who could not post,
I
they were
know.
freaking. They were flipping
I
out.
mean, it's just crazy. But you have to have it has to be in your plan.
Correct.
It has to be in your process.
Correct.
What happens if social media goes down? How are we going to market and brand our business? There's many other ways to do it without social media. We did it for decades before social media came
Believe
around.
it or not, kids, we did it a
Yes.
long time before that.
Yeah, so that's influence marketing is great. Social media is great. It's a great platform, and it's probably 80% of a strategy for some companies. But what if it goes down? Those are the things you got to think about.
And I think people really freaked out. Like I actually initially couldn't believe I couldn't get on. Oh, thank you, Ada. Love you. I couldn't get on, and then I Googled it, but I knew better to Google it because I knew it wasn't me. I wasn't in Facebook jail, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people freaked out, couldn't get their shows done. It impacted their business. So what Bryan's saying, I think, is that you've got to have a really good, solid mix of how you're branding, how you're doing your marketing, how you're selling your business. Oh, thanks, Ori. Because you can't 100% rely on some of this stuff. You put all your eggs in one basket, it's always bad.
Yes.
All right, so before we head out, I want to make sure I don't miss a topic.
Okay.
What have I missed? Hey, Kathy, what's happening? Because I'm going to share all of Bryan's contact information. I mean, if you want somebody who's going to help you with your branding, a branding agency, remember that's different than a social media agency or a social media guru, for lack of a better word. We want you to get with Bryan because he obviously knows there's more to it. That's only one little chunk.
There it is. One last thing I'll talk about is if you own a business out there that relies on leads like mortgage industry or attorneys or medical or anything out there, if you're a sales company and your salespeople rely on leads, call me. I got a solution for you.
All right, Carlos, I love you. Batman, you know how much I love you. I love you guys so much. All right, so again, we're going to share all of Bryan's contact information, how you can reach out to him. I mean, he doesn't bite, right? That's why we bring people on the show so they can see how awesome you are. And these people have that desire to help people. So don't be afraid just because it's outside of your 9 dots and you're not sure about it. Most people who go to Bryan probably aren't sure about it either. So don't be afraid of that stuff. Don't let it inhibit you from taking the leap and making your business grow. All right, any parting words of wisdom for them before we head out?
Everything starts with your mind. I'm going to go back to mindset again. Everything you do, personal, business, family, friends, everything, it starts with the mind. If you don't have the right mindset, if you think negatively, if you find yourself making a lot of excuses, you got to change yourself before you can help anybody else. Because you can't go to somebody and speak negatively or be pessimistic and expect them to listen to you. A great mind is such an impactful tool, especially in business, because when you're meeting with clients, if you're going in with a positive attitude and everything you do is with energy, I guarantee you're going to close 80% of your clients. If you go in thinking immediately you're pessimistic about the meeting and you're in your head, and I know people are doing this because I've done it. You're going into a meeting and you're like, this is going to go bad. I don't have a good feeling about this. Right. Then of course it's going to be bad. Change your mind, people. Change your mind. Make it positive and watch what happens.
I love it. All right. Bryan Whitehurst, everybody. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks for being patient about getting back on the show. We had a little scheduling issues. Imagine that with my insanity. Happy Tuesday, Ellen. We love you guys. Reach out to Bryan. I'm going to share all of his contact information after the show. We'll be back with a crazy topic around 2:30. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Love you guys.
Have a good day.